Hi, my name is Terry Muller. I represent Muller's Paint and Paper in the village of Caledonia. And I've been in the full-time paint business about 31 years, and I was approached a number of years ago to bring some of my thoughts that I share with the customers every day at the paint shop, some helpful hints, money-saving ideas, little shortcuts to produce a nice quality job, more of a professional look that the consumer can use. And so our painters, our homeowners, read in newsprint the last number of years Terry's Tips. And I'm pleased to offer today our second in a series of Terry's Tips to the small screen. So today we're talking about brushes. You walk in the paint shop, you see brushes all over the wall, and I've got a $2 brush. I've got a little 89 center, and I've got a $20 one. I'm thinking, well, what do I get? I'm come to the paint store to get a brush, and I'm looking for help. Couple of rules of thumb, and it'll keep this fairly simple. Natural bristle brushes, whether it's a hog, China bristle we're called, and they're literally just Chinese bred, long-haired pigs, hogs, for the brush industry, and they carry paint well, and they're used in oil-based coatings. Paint thinner cleanup, the slow dry products that not a lot of homeowners use, but still the contractor might use it on the woodwork, might use it on doors. Natural bristle, hog hair, most popular, or a little bit higher end for some of the good quality varnishes, ox hog combination. This is a 25% ox hair, 75%, a little less expensive hog hair, but a natural bristle. So natural bristle brushes for oil-based, petroleum-based paints. And what they do is they carry the thinner viscosity. Typically your oil-based paints are a little bit thinner, slower dry. We want them to carry more paint. Well, the bristles carry the petroleum-based paint. If I take a synthetic bristle, whether it's a consumer style or maybe a contractor quality, a little bit higher end brush, if I take a synthetic bristle and I'm putting on a, let's just say, a thin deck oil, the bristle doesn't absorb any of the oil, and the carrying capacity is much different, and the oil deck stain, which we're all doing summers, they run right out of the brush. And so I'm dipping in, and I can't even get to the deck board, and the paint's running out, or the deck oil, deck stain is running out of my synthetic brush because it doesn't absorb the oil. So there's where I would use, again, oil-based paints, deck stains for the consumer. We typically promote an oil deck stain. Stays wetter longer on the substrate, the deck absorbs the coating, and a little longer life with an oil base, particularly sold today in today's market on our decks. And I want an oil brush, so I come into the paint store and I get a natural bristle pig hair. Anywhere from this size, staying on that deck theme a minute, to a 4-inch. Why might I want a 4-inch? Well, I got about a 6-inch surface I'm trying to coat, and if I'm doing it with a little 2.5-incher, I'm really stroking that coating out there, and it's taking me twice as long. The sun's coming out, I got other things to do, other chores to do. It takes me way too long with a 2 or 2.5-inch brush. So I spend the money on a nice 4-inch straight handle deck brush, natural bristle, pig hair. Now if I want to really get that job done, and I got a big deck, and I might want to not bend over and get the knee pads out that are offered at most paint shops to save your knees while you're doing your deck, I might want an extension handle threaded right onto my brush, and this Olympian brush is designed to do just that, to do my deck. Way too heavy for most of us, way too heavy for me, to hold out overhead to do any siding with. Even though it might carry a lot of coating, I can't support it. I can't, my arm's gonna fatigue. So an Olympian natural bristle for oil-based deck coatings, 5-inch Olympian it's called, and it really carries a lot of deck stain. Synthetic, nylon or polyesters, sold for latex coatings, the new technology waterborne coatings. What's happened with the waterborne coatings of today, some of your ceramic paints, some of your new technology, high-end stuff that really do a great job on the interior of a wall, makes a living room paint and a flat coating wash like a dish with some of the latest paints. They're so tenacious, they stick so well to that wall or that trim that a regular polyester brush doesn't clean out very easy. That paint grabs right a hold of it. So they've come out with a what we call a Chinex, a synthetic man-made bristle designed for waterborne coatings. And it releases the paint, so come cleanup time, it's done much quicker, much easier with what we call a Chinex. Kind of a play on words to get the painter to think, yeah, this is a quality brush. I've been using China bristles all my career, but I want to make that switch, the older guys, to the water-based coatings of today. China bristle, well, the industry kind of did a little trick, and they wanted to build the painter confidence, and they came out with a brush that looks very, very similar, typically a white hog. They made a white synthetic bristle, and they are synthetic Chinex to release the coatings of today. That same brush, the Chinex for today's waterbornes, is offered in a short handle. Why a short handle? Well, typically, today's generation painter, guy, gal, old, young, we choke up on the brush and we hold it just like this. The old-time painter, a little more artistic, and they would hold it out here. They needed that long handle. Maybe for reaching on a ceiling line, you still want the long one. But these are very, very nice. A lot of the ladies love this bristle. A lot of the contractors, we initially bought them for contractors, and then we started to show them to the consumer. Once a gal got this in her hand, realized how nice and controllable and how nice a line she could make with that short handle brush, they're buying them. $15 brush, but it's a beautiful brush, and it carries a lot of paint. 89 center, $15. Think about painting a door. How many times you're dipping in and why do I have brush strokes on my door, like a lot of them? It's because I chose the too small a brush for a larger project. I need a little bit bigger. Also, the other advantage, same bristle, same manufacturer, short handle, inside cabinets. The cabinet shelves, I'm painting inside, this is knocking the upper shelf or the bookcase that I'm trying to varnish. It's just way too cumbersome. So, the industry's made a short handle. Very controllable, very nice. We're choking up on the brush anyway. We don't need the handle. What I used to do when I was doing some more cabinetry type inside detail work at my home, I would just cut the handle off with a little wood saw. I'd lob that baby off, maybe file it a little bit. Yeah, it works, but we've got a beautiful brush all around. Brush, and it's good quality, and they're a short handle for inside cabinet work. So remember, oil-based paints, if you're putting on an oil polyurethane, you want a pig hair natural bristle brush, or an ox hog or horsehair combination brush, but an animal, a man-made, or excuse me, a synthetic animal bristle. If I'm using the latex paints of today, the waterborne paints, anything that's soap and water cleanups, I want synthetic, either a polyester or preferably a Chinex quality that releases that paint, so then when I'm done with my project, I can get this brush cleaned out, reused. And just like the roller cover segment you might have saw Terry's tips about rollers, these are designed to be repeatedly used. And this brush, once you spend whatever the money for a good quality, maybe $10 to $20, lifelong brush, great tool. You'll forget to clean it up once before it actually wears out. The bristles last forever. Used to be when you had the pig hair brush and oil-based coatings, I would literally wear these down. That animal hair wears, much different than a nylon or a synthetic. And as I used it, after maybe 20, 30 gallons of brushing woodwork, it would just dish right out, and then it would become my duster brush. No more do I have the length. And so now I'm not carrying the right capacity. I'm acting like I got a little inexpensive, what we call chip brush, and so it turns into my duster. But the brushes of today, the synthetics, wear like iron, designed to be used and used over and over and again, and that is the beauty of a synthetic brush. Water-based coatings is where they're designed to be used. So that's a little skinny about brushes, and I hope you find it informative. Visit us again for the next Terry's Tips. And by the way, if you want to read about what I've just kind of spoken and shared with you, go to caledoniacable.org and read it. And that would be another format, another venue to follow the series called Terry's Tips. Thank you.